here. At the moment I'm recording this video for you, I just wrapped up a Golden Aura 5-day challenge. It was a kick-ass challenge, kick-ass experience. Why? Because the participants in the challenge, their transformation was off the roof. I am still hearing about it until now. We created so much momentum during this challenge. It's been really incredible and amazing to receive all the emails and really like see all the comments about like all the awakenings and really all the celebration even during the challenge, right? And then after the challenge, I made an offer. I invited humans who were participating to join me for a deeper experience in unity. And it was also kick-ass because we ended up having the biggest number of humans joining unity at once ever received all at once. All right, so with that said, it was a kick-ass, really good experience for the participants and for myself as well, and for the humans on my team as well. So I have done a bigger launch before, but for this particular Golden Aura launch, this is the biggest even in sales that we have ever done ever, right? So with that said, obviously I was in celebration, but like these days my celebrations are very grounded. My celebrations, because ever since I really started detaching my wins and my like whatever I create in the world from my value, like I really separate both now. Yes, I celebrate, yes, I'm excited, but it feels very grounded to me. It's not all the way up in my head, right? So I was in celebration for sure. But one thing that happens is that like I reached out to one of my mentors and I said, listen, yes, I'm happy about the results that I got in this launch, but I feel like I didn't challenge myself enough. I feel like I want to challenge myself. I feel like there's so much more I could do, right? There's so much more I could do impact-wise. There's so much more I can do even like money-wise. And like there's this, right? Again, like it's coming from a place of already being satisfied with myself, but at the same time from a place of there's so much more I could do. There's so much more that I can share. There's so much of my energy that I can share. And she said something that made me smile. She said, this is happening because, right? This is happening because you have so much energy and you know that you can do so much more. And I was like, wow, that is one thing that I've never been accused of, will be having so much energy, especially after a lunch where I had so many people I was holding space for, right? So I want to talk about that because when you hear this now, or when perhaps you've been in my audience for a little bit, for a couple of months, for 3 months, or for a year, or for 2, right? A lot of the times when people observe me from outside, people assume that I naturally was born with so much energy because I do so much. Because I really take action so much, I move so much, like when I have an idea, I move on it, I take action. I think that's what brings result. And people just assume that Dihessa naturally has a lot of energy. I want to really, if that's what you've been thinking, oh my God, I want to break this illusion for you. I want to share with you that Dihessa was born, I'm talking about myself in the third person, okay. Right, I actually, like me sitting here, I was born with what is called the sickle cell trait, right? If you are African descent, you might be very familiar with this, whether you are African American or you are from somewhere, some islands, other places. It is really like a distortion of the blood cells. Initially, apparently, right, I don't know big science behind this, but apparently it's initially the body's way, like that the body was trying to figure out a way to combat malaria. And if you don't know, I was born in Togo, West Africa, and malaria is something that is very prominent there, right? Like it's no big deal to us there, but like that's something that occurs quite often, right? So somehow our intelligent body found a way to figure out how it can fight against malaria. And so how it does it is like kind of like when the blood cells were distorted like that, it was the body's way of kind of killing the whatever virus or germ or whatever that malaria, you know what I mean, you know the drift, okay? So I cannot really tell you all the science behind this, but that's in a nutshell what it looks like. And so I was born with that. Like my whole entire life I had to manage that, even from a young age. Sometimes I had lots of pain in my bones, like excruciating pain, right? Especially when it gets super humid outside, especially also when it gets hot and humid, when it gets cold and humid, excruciating pain in my body, really, right? But more than that, it's like it really prevents the blood cells to fall from carrying enough oxygen, really. And really this creates anemia, right? You may have heard the term sickle cell anemia, right? And so for me, my whole entire life, even today when I go to the doctors, like the number one thing, if it's a doctor that doesn't know me, it's like, oh, you have anemia, it's serious, blah blah blah, all these things, right? And so that is the scientific way you can look at it. And for the longest time, I actually had very low energy. I couldn't, there's a lot of things like what I do now, like when I'm doing lunches and I hold space for like so many hundreds of people in programs and stuff like that. There's no way I could have done it before, right? But what ended up happening is I discovered that really even that can be managed through energy, right? Because in the past, when I didn't know how to manage my energy through my energetic system, I felt exhausted all the time. I felt tired all the time. Like I will say one thing that I want to say, that I want to do, and then 2 months later, 3 months later, I haven't done it, right? I would say, well, I want to create this, and I had a lot of ideologies. I had a lot of ideas of what I wanted to create and what I didn't know, like really beautiful ideas, but I really didn't have the power to bring them to fruition because I didn't have the energy. And the other way that you can look at it as well is, I look at it from the perspective of a lot of the times we think about our fears and our doubts and all these things. And yes, a fear and doubt are a very normal part of our brain, right? It's very normal part of our brain. It's like, yeah, like that's a whole other topic for another video, right? It's very normal. It's like layers of our brain. There are layers of our brain that are comprised of doubt. There are layers of our brain that are comprised of fears, right? The fact of the matter is we have to carry enough energy that we step into the part of the brain that knows that even with the fear we can move, even with doubt we can move, right? Even with all of this, like creating an energy that overrides the fear, overrides the doubt and stuff like that. And so that's what I really started understanding, that really changed everything for me. And so I started really focusing, if you want to look at it from the perspective of even your energetic system, for example, if you are familiar with your energetic system, you can look at it from the perspective of chakras, energy centers in your body, right? So in my state, when I was drained of energy a lot, what that really meant, like in my energetic system, was I had too much energy in my head and very little energy in my core, in my second chakra. Too much energy in my sixth chakra, up in my head. So many of us, like when we are overthinking, when we are like in the state of, my doubt is overpowering my inner power. That's what it means, right? And so what I did over the years was, first of all, whenever I'm doing a lunch, like it's well known now, like I really focus on amplifying my energy before I get into the lunch, because I'm really creating this energy that is then going to hold like space for all the humans that are coming into my realm, right? And there's more to it than that. When I amplify this energy, again, like from the perspective of having so much, like really having so much energy in my core, right? And like it's so funny. The other day, I know Dihessa digresses sometimes. I want to share this story. The other day, Law, one of the humans on my team, sent me, we were having a conversation where I was like, oh my God, everybody knows who Gary Vee is, right? I was like, Gary Vee, that guy, he doesn't talk about spirituality. He definitely doesn't talk about chakra. But this guy, like naturally, he's a full of second chakra energy. You can tell that from from a mile away. There are people like that. There are people who are born with, like, constitutionally, like, they have so much energy that they can be taking action left and right. That's a lot of power. A lot of power. They're not stuck in their doubts. They're not stuck. It doesn't mean they don't have doubt. It doesn't mean they don't have fear. They do have doubt. They do have fear, but they have like enough energy, enough core energy, enough even like yeah. Let's just stick to that for that purpose in this way. Enough core energy that energy overrides the energy of doubts. That energy overrides the energy of fear, right? And so that's what I'm talking about. And then anyways, in the video, he was talking about like what has really created his success was that he really follows that gut power, right? See what I mean? Gut power. And then like Laura had sent me that video saying, oh, you know, this guy, he knows something about energy. He probably doesn't know, but naturally, or probably, what do I know? Probably, maybe he knows. What do I know? Maybe he knows and he doesn't talk about it. What do I know? Anyways, but intuitively, he knows that it comes from his gut, right? Gut power, having the gut to do something, having, like, for me, from my perspective, actually the people who create success in their life, it's not because they don't have fear, it's because they have the guts to do something, right? Gut power, like, this is very energetic. This is second chakra energetic, right? Now let's get back to my story. My story, right? And so, like, what I started doing is I actually, first of all, started understanding the principles behind the energy, right? And now, like, all these people, like, I manage my sickle cell. So not only do I not have pain, like, sometimes every now and then it can reoccur, but I always know how to get back to it, especially when I'm busy. My mind is outside all the time, or definitely sometimes, and I don't take care of managing my energy, it can still have this hint of it's coming back, or my body is acting up, and I just go back to it. I just recreate this energy, right? There's one of my favorite phrases is how well you manage your energy, right, will determine your destiny. That's it. It's not about the trauma that happened in the past. It's not about what my dad did five years ago or 20 years ago when I was 5 years old. It's not about my grandma did, right? Regardless of how come there are some people, they've had all these traumas, but at the same time, they are able to manage themselves through it. Energy, right? They've managed to create energy that overpowers the energy of the trauma, the energy. That's how I look at it, right? And so in this video, what I really wanted to share with you is, if it's all about energy, what are the different ways that you may be leaking energy right now that is keeping you from moving faster and growing faster in your business? That's what I want to talk about. And so for me, in addition to the fact that I use my energetic system to amplify energy, I also pay attention to what are the different ways that I'm leaking energy right now, right? And the more I quit doing these things, the more my energy amplifies, and the more energy I have, even through what some may call like stressful moments, like doing a lunch and stuff like that, right? And so the number one thing, like the number one way, like even in general, the number one way that we leak energy, that we waste energy, I was so good at that. I'm still probably really good at that. Is being in our head all the time, being in our mind, thinking. So especially if you are creative, some person, right? You having all these ideas, like aka me as well, right? You have all these ideas all the time, or you are creating your programs, or you are really in creative mode. You have to be aware of this. You're utilizing a lot of your energy. You're utilizing a lot of your second chakra energy, right? You have to be able to refuel that. For me, what I pay attention to is, as much as I'm really utilizing my energy, even before I start getting into the mode of utilizing that energy, it is really empowering even for me to charge up first before I start. I start doing that, right? So like one of the most powerful ways that we drain energy is through our mind, right? Through our mind, and also through our eyes, through our, you can say even third eye. Like in your mind, when we're in our high head a lot of times we're using, this is a whole topic, third eye power. knowingly or unknowingly, that's very draining for energy. This is also why, like, the humans who are very intuitive, and if you are doing intuitive work, this is why a lot of the times people who do intuitive work, they don't have the power, right? Put aside the fact that maybe we may have money beliefs and money ideologies and stuff like that that may be keeping us from receiving money. Putting that aside, the other thing is that a lot of the times we don't even have the power. If you're using your like you're doing like intuitive reading, chakra readings, or psychic readings and stuff, like anything that you're utilizing a lot of your intuition, you are utilizing a lot of your second chakra power, which also is your power for creation, right? When it's drained through that, then you don't even have the power to like materialize. Again, put aside the fact that there's also beliefs and all these things on the side, then you don't have the power to materialize in the physical realm, like energetically, if you want to look at it from that perspective, right? And so those are some of the ways that like in general, if you want to think about it like that, right? So one of the most powerful ways that you may be draining energy right now, if you want to go specific, is being indecisive. I want it, I don't want it. Even in the way that we set our goals and our vision. I want that, I don't want that. Maybe not. Maybe another time, right? I've talked about this a ton on my master classes, where like I've shared before that, like in the past, I'll make a goal at the beginning of the month, and by 15th of the month, I change my mind. I'm like, maybe not. Maybe I haven't done anything. Maybe let's reduce this one. Like, I want it, I don't want it. I want it, I don't want it. I don't want, like, indecisive. I want to do this, I don't want to do it. Maybe it's a bad idea. Maybe not, now is the wrong time. All these things. We are draining energy, which is why, again, like in a previous video, I was talking about giving ourselves deadlines, right? Giving ourselves. I particularly love giving deadlines, even to join programs and stuff like that, for even our brain and for also conserving our energy, right? Being indecisive, that is one of the biggest ways that we are wasting energy. We are wasting energy. How did I start being less indecisive? I think for me, one of the things that helped me a ton is realizing that there's never a right or wrong decision, right? There's never, it's just make the decision, make the damn decision, right? And also I realized that this was so powerful for me. I realized that my brain is always waiting for me to just tell it what to do, and it will just get into like, let's do it, right? And so once I understood that, I'm like, okay, so if my brain, like I always say this, I have the creator of all things inside of my brain, and so do you, right? The creator of all things has already descended in your brain and in mine. And so if that is true and it's always listening to me, and I keep telling it, I want it, I don't want it, I want it. It's like, it's so confusing for it, right? What I've learned is that there's no wrong decision. It's just a decision. And then maybe we may need to course correct. And in the course correcting, sometimes we learn what we need to learn and then we move on, right? So that has helped me a ton in becoming less indecisive, right? And then all of a sudden, and then I actually can feel it in my body now. When I'm going like this, I'm like, God, Dihessa, you're wasting a lot of energy. Like, I feel it when I'm wasting energy now. I can feel it with my body. And I'm like, okay, no. Okay, just make a choice. Just make a damn choice, Dihessa. And then I do, and I really go from the perspective of any choice I make is right because I made that choice. Something led me to making that choice, and I'll learn what I need to learn, or I'll get the results that I need to get in the process, because I trust that brain. I trust that part of myself. If I already told it and I make the decision, it will always course correct me. That's how I look at it. That's one way that I really started being less indecisive. And also the fact that it's like, now I have experienced this over and over again, right? And I've shared this before when I've said that, my teacher always said that, like, when I, he will always say, if you choose, it'll happen. If you choose with all of your heart and all of your soul, if you choose something and then you make moves towards it, it will happen. It is law. It's law, right? And so if I'm not choosing, then it's like, energy is scattered. But if I'm choosing, it doesn't mean that it has to happen this very second. But the moment that I choose, it's like I'm moving energy towards that direction. I'm moving my mind towards that direction, and I'm giving guidance to my brain for where we are going. All right. So that's one thing that has helped me a ton on that topic. Right. The second way, this one is really, really powerful. The second way we leak energy a lot is consuming too much information. Consuming too much information, consuming too much. I am so selective. I'm so selective now on how much information I consume, right? Consuming so much information, meaning even like doing, even in this one, I'm so guilty of that, like Netflix. I used to watch Netflix like nonstop. I still watch Netflix, right? But like, I sometimes ask myself, is this how I want to use my energy? Like anything that we consume through our eyes, through our, it brings so much energy up here. This is why I really limit how much time I spend in, first of all, I choose wisely which space I want to present myself in. And if there's too much bombarding of information, I give myself time and space, right? Like I give myself, okay, at this time I'm going to show up, and there I'm going to spend this much time in there, and then I'm out, right? I'm conserving my energy. It's all about utilizing my energy for my goals and for my vision, right? The third way that we waste a lot of energy, the third way that we leak a lot of energy in our lives, and I've talked about this even at the beginning of this video, it is having such a rigid mind on right and wrong. This is right, this is wrong. This is right, this is wrong, right? And what I have realized, what I've come to know, which is a whole topic for another day as well, like the more I have realized that many truths can be true at the same time, right? Many truths can, like, oh my God, I really started allowing myself to be like, okay, many truths can be true at the same time, right? And a lot of the times it's really about perception as well. All these right and wrong, yeah. Maybe we may want to live in somebody's shoes for a little bit to understand their perspective, right? Anyways, it's not just about humans, it's just about all the practices that we do, the strategies that we use. This is right, this is wrong. It's, for me, like how I started looking at it is what's aligned with me, what's not aligned with me. And I really leave everybody to however they're doing it, right? And I also really, and don't get me wrong, sometimes I catch myself being like, oh, that's wrong. It's a whole other topic for another day, right? Because sometimes we feel like, well, if they're doing it a different way than mine, especially if we're feeling insecure about our own results or our own way of doing it, a part of our brain wants to go like, this has to be wrong. Like, it has to be wrong. The way they do it's wrong. They're not going to get the results that they want. And sometimes we even use marketing for that purpose. But sometimes, or a lot of the times, if not most of the times, when we see something from the outside, we only see one side of the story. We don't ever see the other side of the story, right? We only see what's on the surface, and we don't see what's on the other side of the story, right? And for me, this has been so helpful to go into the space of, oh yeah, I can observe something. I don't actually know anything about it per se. I only see one side of the story. And many truths can be true at the same time. That has freed my energy so much. That has freed my energy so much. All right. So that's what I wanted to share with you in this video. I hope it was enjoyable and somehow helpful to you. If you wanted to have a taste of what I was talking about earlier, utilizing your energetic system, really to have a taste of what it feels like, even to feel your energy and to amplify your energy towards your vision and towards what you want to create in your business. This video, I have a video, it's called Energy Meditation for Calling in Coaching Clients. If you've never done it, this is absolutely something that you want to experience. This is not intellectual knowledge. It's something that you definitely want to experience. And even if you've done it before, you may want to do it again and again and again and again, right? I'll have the link below this video for you to have access to that. And I'll see you again in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.